My heart raced as I swiped through my Facebook feed, mindlessly scrolling past cat videos and memes. It had been weeks since I'd been on a date, and I was feeling the pangs of loneliness. That's when I saw her profile, Sarah. Her smile was captivating, her eyes a deep, entrancing shade of green. Her profile said she was single, loved hiking, and had an affection for horror movies. Perfect, or so I thought. I took a deep breath and sent her a message. To my surprise, she responded almost immediately. We chatted back and forth for hours, sharing our favorite horror stories and debating the merits of various Stephen King novels. There was something about our conversation that felt strangely intimate, as if we had known each other for years. Before I knew it, we had set up a date for the following evening at a cozy little coffee shop in the heart of the city. I couldn't believe my luck. It all seemed too good to be true. The next evening, I arrived at the coffee shop early, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. I ordered a cappuccino and settled into a corner booth, checking my phone every few minutes to make sure I hadn't missed a message from Sarah. As the minutes turned into hours, doubt began to creep in. Maybe she had changed her mind, or perhaps something had come up. Just as I was about to give up and head home, I received a message from her. It read, "I'm so sorry for the delay. Something unexpected came up. I'll be there soon. Can't wait to see you." My disappointment turned into relief, and I eagerly replied, "No problem. Take your time. I'll be here." As I sipped my cappuccino, I couldn't help but wonder what had caused Sarah's delay. But those thoughts were quickly pushed aside when she finally walked through the coffee shop's door. She was even more beautiful in person, her smile radiant. She rushed over to my table, apologizing profusely for being late. I assured her it was no big deal, secretly thrilled that she had made it. We fell into conversation effortlessly, talking about everything from our favorite horror movies to our childhood memories. It was as if we had known each other for years, and the chemistry between us was undeniable. As the hours passed, the coffee shop around us emptied, leaving only us and the barista cleaning up. Sarah suddenly glanced at her phone and frowned. "I'm so sorry, but I need to go," she said, her voice tinged with regret. "I have to get up early for work tomorrow." I tried to hide my disappointment and nodded understandingly. We exchanged numbers, and she promised to text me soon to set up another date. With a quick hug and a lingering smile, she left the coffee shop, leaving me with a sense of longing. Over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about Sarah. Her absence in my life left a void I hadn't even realized existed. Each day, I checked my phone, hoping for a message from her. Finally, on the fourth day, I received a text. "Hey, I had a great time the other night," it read. "Would you like to come over to my place for dinner tomorrow?" I was over the moon. I eagerly accepted her invitation, and we made plans for the following evening. As I prepared for the date, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease, a nagging feeling that something was off. But I brushed it aside, chalking it up to my own insecurities and anxieties. When I arrived at Sarah's apartment the next evening, she greeted me with a warm smile and a tight hug. The aroma of a delicious meal wafted through the air, and I realized just how hungry I was. We sat down to eat, and the conversation flowed effortlessly, just like our first meeting. As we finished our meal, Sarah excused herself to use the restroom. I took the opportunity to look around her apartment. It was tastefully decorated, with shelves filled with books and DVDs. One particular book caught my eye. It was an old, leather-bound tome with strange symbols etched into its cover. It looked like something out of a horror movie. Before I could examine it further, Sarah returned, her smile faltering slightly when she noticed where my gaze had landed. "Oh, that old thing," she said dismissively. "It's just a family heirloom, nothing special." I nodded, though the unease from earlier began to gnaw at me once more. Something about her reaction didn't sit right with me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The rest of the evening went well, and as I left her apartment, Sarah gave me a sweet kiss on the cheek. "I had a great time," she whispered. "We should do this again soon." I agreed wholeheartedly and headed home, my mind racing with thoughts of Sarah. But as the days turned into weeks, I noticed a change in her behavior. She became increasingly distant, canceling plans at the last minute and avoiding my calls and messages. I couldn't understand what had gone wrong. Had I said something to upset her? Was she no longer interested in me? The uncertainty gnawed at me, and I found myself obsessively checking her Facebook profile, hoping for some clue about what was happening. One evening, as I scrolled through her profile, I noticed something strange. Her posts had become increasingly cryptic, filled with references to darkness, sacrifice, and rituals. It was as if she had become a different person overnight. Worried, I sent her a message, asking if everything was okay. The response I received chilled me to my core. "Everything is perfect now," she replied. "I've found my true purpose, and I can't wait for you to join me." I didn't know what to make of her message. It sounded like something out of a horror story, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was in over my head. But curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to confront her in person. When I arrived at her apartment, the door was ajar. I cautiously pushed it open and stepped inside. The apartment was in disarray, furniture overturned, and strange symbols painted on the walls in what looked like blood. The air was thick with an eerie silence. As I moved further into the apartment, I found a door that led to a basement. My heart pounded in my chest as I descended the stairs, my footsteps echoing in the darkness. What I saw in that basement will haunt me for the rest of my days. Sarah stood in the center of a circle of candles, her eyes glazed over, a knife in her hand. Before her, on an altar, lay a lifeless body, a pool of blood surrounding it. The symbols from the book I had seen earlier were etched into the floor around her. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. It was as if I had stumbled into a nightmare. Sarah turned to me, her eyes locking onto mine with a chilling intensity. "You came," she whispered, her voice no longer her own. "You're just in time." I backed away in horror, stumbling up the stairs and out of the apartment. I called the police, my words trembling as I tried to explain what I had seen. When they arrived, they found Sarah in the basement, still holding the knife, but the body on the altar was gone. They arrested her, but the investigation into the identity of the victim went nowhere. There was no evidence, no trace of the person she had sacrificed. To this day, I don't know what truly happened that night, and I'm haunted by the knowledge that I narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. I've since deleted my Facebook account, vowing never to use social media again. The memory of Sarah's disturbing date still sends shivers down my spine, a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying horrors can be found in the most unexpected places.